You can bet in a heartbeat that I make quality videos.
Hey, since I'm occasionally giving out adult advice, anyone want to know my very adult and very boring and very sensible suggestion for grief gifts for friends and family when someone close to them dies? Alright, this is shamelessly stolen from my godparents when they did this when my grandma passed about 10 years ago, and since then I've been on both sides of this, and it's surprisingly thoughtful and useful. This is particularly important when people are like in charge of funeral prep, but anyone who just heard someone close to them just died is gonna be in a certain headspace, so it probably works regardless. People are gonna be sending cards and flowers and other very nice but ultimately useless gifts. Don't do that. Go to the grocery store and order one of those deli party platters. The ones with like 4 different kinds each of meats and cheeses, maybe some sides, and veggies, and bread and condiments. Get the vegetarian version if you know they're vegetarians. Whatever. You know better than I how many people are going to be eating it. But guess maybe like 4 days worth of food. Because here's the thing. Cards and flowers are very nice and remind you that you're in people's thoughts. But you know what you just don't even want to think about when someone dies? Making dinner, going to the grocery store, ordering takeout, whatever. You don't want to have to think about food. You just want to eat in between planning a funeral and working through your grief. Without getting too into it, when my grandma died, we were thrown for a loop, and we ate nothing but what was on that goddamn deli platter for days, because it was quick and easy and fresh and tasted good and we didn't have to think about food. And 10 years later, I don't remember those cards or flowers, but I sure as hell remember the deli platter. So next time someone's going through something, when a family member or close friend just passed, go to your nearest grocery store. And if you can, walk a deli platter over to their place, as soon as you can after you're here. They may look at you weird when you hand it to them, but trust me, in the long run, they're gonna thank you. Food helps. I don't remember the cards and flowers. What I do remember is the amazing lasagna somebody made me. It fed me for a week during a time when I was simply incapable of finding or preparing meals. The deli platter is an interesting twist on that, and I'm filing that away for sure. Honey-baked ham delivers. When my dad died, everything was a black blur of grief, and nobody could even really approach taking basic care of ourselves. A family friend made and brought over a humongous batch of jambalaya, and it is basically the chief reason nobody fainted from hunger. When my father died 18 years ago, I remember that friends and family had flowers delivered, and that was nice, but I don't even remember what kind of flowers or colors. I remember my mom's best friend at the time landing on our doorstep with bags of groceries that fed us for a couple of weeks. When my mother died nearly a year ago, I know that a cousin ordered a bouquet of flowers, and they were lovely. What I remember is my mom's friends landing in my doorstep with bags of groceries that kept me going for a while, so I didn't have to think about feeding myself, because I was absolutely lost in a sea of grief and being suddenly alone, and just in a daze of, what the fuck just happened? Why am I alone? Where are you? Why am I alone? What do I do now? When my body finally demanded I ingest sustenance, I didn't have to think about it. I just went for the easy stuff and got it done with. This is why Jews sit Shiva. You have to take a week to grieve and have people bring you food and emotional support. It's honestly something I wish more cultures had. We don't need flowers. We need people to help us hold ourselves together. And sometimes that means just bringing a plate of cheese and crackers so the grieving person doesn't have to cook. Yes, if you or the person who is grieving lives in a Jewish area, you can usually find a Jewish deli that offers Shiva platters. If it's a good one, they'll call the grieving folks and work out what they need and when to make sure they are helping the best way they can. My mom and I both work for the state, specifically in IT in different but related areas. Almost everyone in our units knew both of us pretty well, sometimes for years or decades, either having worked with one or both of us, worked near one or both of us, or in a couple of cases, changed my diapers. When my dad died, my unit's condolences were a massive variety sandwich tray from Jason's Deli, and all the things that go with giant sandwich platters. Chips, fruit tray, cookie tray, potato salad maybe? Some other things. This is like the big party pack or something. I mean, even with me, mom, 2 sisters, 4 kids, a brother-in-law, and a sister's boyfriend, that was 5 days of food at minimum. Mom's unit, on the other hand, sent both cash, not loose cash, someone took the time to convert it into practical 10s and 20s, and 1 or 2 extremely generous Visa cards. I'm 99% sure this was a collaborative effort between our units. Simple food that required no effort whatsoever, even in washing dishes. Just pick up and chew. Cash so we'd have that on hand if we needed it without having to go to an ATM or the bank or remember where the debit card is. The Visa gift cards, because we work for the state, our names and salaries are not only public knowledge, but published in the newspaper every year, and funerals and incidentals are expensive, especially when you don't see them coming and you're a public servant. It was the most intensely practical and also utterly personal help we could have possibly gotten. It was exactly what we needed in exactly the form we needed, and so incredibly kind. It said, "We're sorry for your loss," but it also said, "We grieve with you." Grief is always hard, and nothing can really help with that. But what they did made living with grief so much easier, and I've never forgotten that.